All right, all right, all right.
This call is now being recorded.
Amazing.
This call is now taking notes.
All right, so you guys are welcome to this master class, and I'm super excited to have you guys here. My name is Antonio Babo. I am a senior data associate at Health Analytics. So super excited, like I said. So before we move on, I would like you to take some minutes of your time to invite your friends, your colleagues, anyone that you think this session will be helpful to, because we have a lot to learn on this session. We have a lot of knowledge to unpack. Okay, so invite your friends, invite your loved ones, and we can do that in the next 1 minute. So as we are doing that, I would like us to, to get to know ourselves better. I would like to know your name, your career, and where you are joining us from. Okay, can we have that on the chat box? So like I said, I am Anthony Obuabo, a data analyst, and of course, I'm joining you here from Enugu, Nigeria. So you can tell me about yourself so that I'll be able to tailor the session properly for your own good. Okay, so just type your name, your profession on the chat box, and where you are joining us from. Okay. All right, Sylvanus, I can see your hand is raised. So if you have a question, just pen your question down. Okay, I'm going to take your question during question and answer time. Okay. So can we get that on the chat box? Your name, your profession, what you do, where you're joining us from. Can we get that on the chat box, guys? Can we get that on the chat box while we are waiting for others to, to quickly join us? Of course, we are starting immediately. And like I promised, we have a lot of knowledge to unpack this evening. Okay, so I'm yet to get your reactions on the chat box. Okay, okay, Samuel Kogi states, a graphic designer. Samuel, you are welcome. Samuel, you are welcome. So who else? Muhammad from Lagos State, inventory officer. You're welcome, Muhammad. Okay, so keep that introduction coming in while I share my screen, okay? All right. Sylvanus is in PH, a warehouse and logistics officer. You're welcome, Sylvanus. Fatima, I can see you. All right, guys. So you are all welcome to this wonderful session. And tonight we want to go into automating hiring processes and working smarter as a HR or data professionals. Okay. So how many of us are HR professionals here? If you are HR professional, can I get your reaction with the emojis? If you're a HR professional here, can I get your reactions? Okay. Okay, that is amazing. That is amazing. I'm seeing your messages on the chat box. I'm seeing your introductions on the chat box. Can see Fatima is a HR professional. Daisy Wilson from Abia is a nurse. Okay. So you guys are all welcome to the session. So the session is beneficial to everyone, including those interested in the HR space, those interested in data analytics, and any tech related career that you are into or you want to delve into. So you are highly welcome to this session. We are all going to learn a lot from this session. So let's just start. Now the question is, why are we here? tonight? Why are we actually here tonight? That is the question. And I would like you to answer that question, within yourself. Okay, why are we actually here tonight? So I have, based on the form that some of you filled, I have some HR professionals here who are overwhelmed with repetitive tasks. Management are expecting a lot from you. Candidates are also expecting quicker response from you and all of that. You go on as a HR professional, as a data professional, you screen, you know, lots of CV manually. You do a lot of things manually. You generate reports manually. You spend a lot of your time in documentation, reporting, and all of that. You are tired, and you know you're physically exhausted. Your body is actually paying the price of being a HR professional, of being a data professional. So when I say data professional, I mean whether you are a data analyst, data scientist, or any data related profession. Okay, so most of us here, based on the feedback we got from you guys, most of us here are no longer okay with our job, how the whole thing is going, how stressful it is. Okay, we have a lot of HR professionals here, a lot of data professionals that carry out a lot of repetitive tasks, on their own manually. Every now and then you are replying to emails, you are responding to emails, and all of that. Okay, so in this session, we are going to understand what automation is. Okay, we are going to understand what automation really means. Okay, so when we talk about automation, what do we mean by that word automation? Okay, we're also going to learn how AI is assisting HR and data professionals. So we have a lot to learn. So as we are moving on, this material is actually going to be sent to you. But how are you going to get this material? You can only get this material when you fill the attendance form. So there is an attendance form on the chat box. So just take 1 minute of your time, okay, to fill that attendance form so that you get all the resources we are going to be using for this webinar, okay? So just fill the attendance form. Make sure you fill the attendance form so that you get the video recording of this webinar, you get the materials, all the necessary resources for this particular webinar, you are going to get it. But that is only when you fill the attendance form, because we can only get all these resources across to you via your details on the attendance form. Okay, so like I was saying, we are going to see how AI is assisting HR and data professional in their day-to-day activities. We are equally going to see how to transition from a manual HR operations to a strategic and technology-enabled professionals. Okay, so whether it is data analysis, whether it's HR analytics, whether it's data science and all of that, we are going to see how we can transform from from doing things manually to using AI or using artificial intelligence to make our work faster, okay, to make our work faster and easier. Then at the end of the day, I'm going to show you a practical roadmap to becoming an AI enabled professional. So if you are excited to join this session and you're excited to learn all of this and lots more, I need to get your reactions. I need to get your reactions. If you are super excited to join this session, and of course, you're looking forward to learn all of this and more, then I need to get your reactions. So you can use the emoji to give your reactions. Amazing, 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 guys. Amazing. So if you have a question, right? If you have a question, you can just pen it down. Okay, I'm going to take all of your questions. So just write down your questions, and I'm going to take every single question that you have, from me. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's dive in. But before we go on, before we go on with this session, let us understand, what do we do here at Analytics Business? Okay, what do we do here at Tenalytics Business? So Tenalytics Business, as some of you may have known, is an e-learning platform. Okay, is an e-learning platform where we train professionals. Okay, we train professionals. Now note, we don't just teach you skills. Okay, we don't just teach you skills or train you on a particular um, career field. Okay, our unique selling point is, you know helping you make use of this skill in landing a remote job that pays you higher, or getting promoted in your current place of work. Okay, so that is what differentiates us from every other learning platform that you may think of. Okay, so that is what differentiates us from every other learning platform that you can think of. So over the past 5 years, we have helped over 4,000 professionals, 4,000 persons to transition from doing things manually to getting into tech and profiting in the tech space. So this number 4,000 is just the number of persons that reach out to us, that okay, based on the training, based on the guidance, mentorship, and everything that we have rendered to you, they came back to say, okay, I've gotten a job, I've landed a job. Okay, so out of 10, maybe 2 will reach out to us to give us the testimony. So these are those ones that this number is, include those ones that reach out to us to give us the testimonial, okay, of how our program have helped them in their career, in their profession. Okay, so we have a lot of courses that we offer, including generative AI for data analytics, for HR analysts, for AI automation engineering. We have AI business analysis and project management. We have AI for software and web development, and then we have AI for content creation. So some of you might be wondering, what is AI for content creation? So basically, most companies are looking for marketers, people that will promote their business out there. So content creation is there to solve that problem. I believe we all have, and of course, with time, we are going to explain all of these career paths. Okay, so you are welcome, and we are happy to have you all here at Analytics Business. Okay, so moving on to the next is a proper introduction of my humble self. Okay, so how many of you would like me to properly introduce myself? So if you want me to properly introduce myself, can I get your reactions? I just want to make sure that you are following me and you are willing to engage on this webinar. Okay, so you can use the reaction. You can use the emoji to react. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So I hope the hand raise is to say, okay, I want to hear your introduction. Okay, that is amazing, guys. That is amazing. So, my humble self, I am Anthony Obabo. Now, who is Anthony Obabo? Anthony Obabo is a data analyst. Over the past half decade, I've been a data analyst, for over half a decade. I have also helped organizations to automate workflows that help them reduce repetitive tasks. Okay, so I've worked as a data analyst in the banking sector. I've also worked as a data analyst with a UK-based recruitment organization. So, and like I said, I've helped organizations, companies to automate workflows. And of course, here at Analytics Business, I work as a senior data associate. By that, I mean as a course instructor. So I teach generative AI for HR analytics and data analytics. Okay, so I'm happy to have you guys here, and I'm happy to be in your midst. So all I need you to do is pay a maximum attention, and I have a lot of knowledge to pass to you guys tonight. Okay, so I have trained over 150 professionals across Africa in the data analytics space. Okay, so and I am willing and ready to do more. Okay, yeah. So that is that about myself, and then I have a question for you guys. I have a question for every single person here. This is not just to the HR professional. Okay, so I want you to tell me, how many hours do you spend on repetitive tasks on a daily basis? Maybe at your current workplace, in your place of business, and all of that. How many hours do you spend? You spend 1 to 5 hours, 6 to 10 hours, and all of that. How many hours do you use? Now, what I mean by repetitive tasks include maybe replying to emails, sending emails, updating reports, a whole lot of things. Okay, so if you are doing a lot of repetitive tasks, you know every day by day, week by week, you are repeating one thing over and over again, that means this session is for you. Okay, this session is for you. Now you can actually type your answer on the chat box if there is something. Okay, okay, Silvano says he has a repetitive task that takes 6 to 10 hours of your time on a weekly basis. That is enormous. That is too much. That is too much. Okay, so like I promised us, we are going to first of all understand what is automation. Okay, so what do you understand by that word automation? So it means simply to make a system to work on its own. Okay, to build a system that will help you carry out tasks or execute tasks on its own without human intervention. Okay, or with less human intervention. Okay, so that is what is automation: carrying out tasks automatically. Okay, building a system that carry out your task for you automatically. So all those repetitive tasks that you do every now and then as a data analyst, you build dashboard, you have to go and refresh your dashboard every now and then, maybe every month, and all of that. Or maybe you're a HR professional, you are screening CVs and every now and then, anytime you need to recruit workforce, you have to screen lots of CV so that you select the best of the best candidates. You don't need to do all of that. So far, they are repetitive tasks. You can condition a system, you can program a system to work for you. Okay, and all you need is to just monitor the system. And that brings us to what I call working harder and working smarter. So how many of us want to work harder? So if you want to work harder, I want you to type A. If you want to work smarter, I want you to type B. So let's get that on the chat box. So if you want to work harder, I want you to type A. I'm waiting for your reply. So Chigozie wants to work harder. Chigozie, are you sure about that option? Felix wants to work smarter. Okay, okay. You've corrected yourself. That is amazing. It's good that you've corrected yourself, Chigozie. That is amazing. So as a professional, you want to work smarter. It is much more important. Organizations want you to be smarter, not working harder. Okay. Some professionals that will tell you that you should work harder, what they are looking at is the result. Okay. They're not looking at you killing yourself every now and then to carry out tasks. Okay. They are not looking at you struggling to carry out tasks. Okay. What they want to see is that you are carrying out tasks, you are getting results. Okay. So they want you to work smarter. Okay. Now, working harder means you working more hours, okay? Carrying out one particular task for several hours, okay? Carrying out manual reporting, doing copying and pasting manually, doing follow-ups on your own, and all of that. That is what I refer to as working harder. Okay, you are working harder, you are stressing yourself, you are stressing your system, you are exhausting more resources for the organization or for the company. Okay, you are increasing their expenses. Okay, so imagine in a typical Nigerian environment where uh, the cost of power is on the high side, and then you will now take a task that should take you 15 minutes to carry out, but you will now take 5 hours. Now, imagine the cost of energy that you have consumed. Okay, the cost of energy that you have expensed. Okay, now working smarter will help you to automate workflows. Okay, standardize processes. Working smarter will even help you to be more accurate in whatever you are doing in your reporting. Okay, working smarter will help you to make better decisions, give a real-time report. Okay, communicate properly. That is what working smarter will help you do. And how do you work smarter in this modern age and time? You work smarter with artificial intelligence. So how many of us know about artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence. So if you know about artificial intelligence, can you type AI on the chat box? Can you type AI? Can you type AI on the chat box? If you know about artificial intelligence, can you type AI on the chat box? Amazing. Amazing. So a lot of us know about AI. But I will tell you one thing, there is something you may not know about AI, and we are going to discuss that here on this session. So do not forget to fill the attendance form. Do not forget to fill the attendance form. So fill the attendance form so that you get all the resources for this webinar. So, Deborah, please, can you help us post the attendance form? Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. So, post the link to the attendance form so that everyone will have access to this material and every other resources for this webinar. Okay. So, tonight we have a practical session of automation, of automating a workflow. So right here on this webinar, we are going to automate a workflow that will screen our CV, our applicant's CV, okay? So we say scaling talent, automating high volume CV screening with AI agents, okay, with AI agents. So this is a case study that we are going to be working with tonight, okay? We are going to be working on this case study tonight. Now, what is the problem of this organization? This organization, they spend hours, okay? They spend hours, processing thousands of CV, hundreds of CV, trying to get the best staff for a particular position. Okay. Now you can see the problem. 1,000 applications. Okay. 1,000 applications. The problem, if screening takes weeks, top talent accept other offers and the HR team burns out. So it doesn't just affect the quality of candidates that will be employed. Okay. It also affects the HR who takes time, who will sit down every time to review CV one after the other, trying to make the right decision of talent to employ. You have to read the profile of each candidate from scratch, understand their work experience, compare their skills against the job description, identify role requirements, record their details in a sheet manually, decide on interview stage, and all of that. So this is what a HR of this particular organization is passing through on a regular basis. Anytime there is room for recruitment, the HR will have to do a lot of manual work, to get the best talent. Okay. But then the HR manager remember that maybe one day you mentioned about automation, just like we're having the conversation right now, and you get to your office tomorrow and you're telling them that you attended a webinar at Analytics Business yesterday and they talked about AI automation. Now your HR remember that, yes, you mentioned AI automation. So is asking you or she's asking you, can't we automate this process? Okay. Can't we automate this process? Okay. Now, the goal of this automation is not actually to replace your job as a HR professional or as a HR analyst or as a data analyst. Okay. The goal is not to replace. The goal is to assist you to work smarter. Do we remember that? Working smarter and working harder. Okay, we remember the difference. Good. So the goal is to help you to work, to assist you to work smarter. Okay, so the AI system handles repetitive reading, extraction of the CV, formatting, and a whole lot of things. Okay, now that way we'll be able to achieve speed in our recruitment process. We have a well-structured employment or recruitment process, and then we free the HR from a lot of chaos or from a lot of stress. Okay, so imagine someone will have to sit down to analyze a lot of CV to just pick maybe one or two persons. Okay, so it doesn't make sense. The stress doesn't worth it. Okay, when we have technologies that can help us carry out this job, okay, all we just need to do is just to monitor and get the output. Okay, now at the end of the day, we want to build a system that will help the AI to extract the candidate CV, okay, get the key details into a Google Sheet or into a database, okay, and then we help summarize based on the job description. We help summarize the person's CV to say, okay, is this person qualified or not? Do we understand the case study? Do we understand the case study? Is it clear to us? Is it clear to us? So instead of this HR professional to go and analyze CV one after the other, this system, this automation is going to do the screening itself, and then we now recommend for the HR the persons that are qualified based on the job description, based on their person's specifications. Okay, do we understand that? So instead of doing things manually, we are going to do things automatically. We are going to screen CVs automatically. Are we following, guys? Are we following? Are we following? Are we following, guys? So do not forget to fill the attendance form. Okay, do not forget to fill the attendance form. So if you haven't done that already, please do well to fill the attendance form. It's very, very important, for you. Okay, so that you get this material and a lot of other resources. Okay, so now look at what the HR does before. So HR opens and reads every single CV manually. But after the automation, AI extracts and summarizes data, summarizes the CV automatically. So before now, the subjective comparison to job description. So HR will have to compare the job description to the person's CV. So, but now AI will now compare the scores against the defined structure. The defined structure is maybe the job description, okay, the expectation that, the candidate is supposed to meet. Okay, we have manual spreadsheet updates. So instead of HR to be picking detail of the applicant or the candidate into a spreadsheet manually, the AI system will now in real time automate and update the Google Sheet, okay, or the spreadsheet as the case may be. Now, screening takes days or weeks before, but after the automation, screening is going to take just seconds per candidate, okay? Now, the HR is no longer tired, okay, is no longer overwhelmed by admin tasks, is focused on the final hiring decision. Okay, so are we seeing the benefits of automation? Are we understanding the benefits of automation? Is it clear to us, guys? Is it clear to us? Is it clear to us? Are we getting it? Are we getting it? So if you are getting it, can I get your reactions? Amazing, amazing, amazing. So the perfect synergy is AI brings the speed, the structural consistency, repetitive data mastery, and all of that. And then the HR is going to come with the empathy, the context, the human judgment, and then the final decision. So both the AI agent and the HR professional, they come together to form a very strong and perfect synergy, to make the best workforce decision, okay, to make the best workforce decision. Now, mind you that we are using this as a case study. It doesn't mean that only HR professionals can automate workflows, okay? Or it doesn't mean that we can only automate workflows for HR professionals. We are just using this as a case study, okay? Now, at the end of the day, this is the workflow that we were able to build. Now, what is the workflow like? Now, this is the form that the applicants, can we all see my screen very well, very clear? Can we all see my screen? Can we all see my screen? Is my screen very clear? I have a dark background, or is it clear? Okay. So we have on form submission. So what this means is that when an applicant fills the application form, okay, of course, he or she is going to need to upload his or her CV here. Now, once it is uploaded, this workflow will be triggered. Now, what I mean by triggered is that the workflow will start running. Now, the second step is going to take is that this node here is going to extract the information from the PDF that is uploaded here. Okay, it will extract the information and then take it to this AI agent. Okay, take it to this AI agent. Now, the AI agent will be there to make some judgments, to to understand. Now in this AI agent, we are going to have like our job descriptions, okay, our job description, and then the AI agent is going to compare the content of the CV against the job description, okay, and we'll be able to pass a judgment here, okay, and then from here we append the judgment, that is the score now, and recommendation on a Google Sheet, okay, on a Google Sheet. Now, appending, I mean, is AI is going to enter this data, including maybe the score, the name of the candidate, the score against, let's say, the person needs to score 80 over 100 to be qualified for the final interview. Okay, this is where this AI and code in JavaScript comes in. Okay, then after that, it extracts the necessary data into this spreadsheet. Now, from this spreadsheet, is going to go into this logic node, the if node. Now here we have true and false, okay? True and false. So if the person meets the criteria or the qualification, okay, is going to route the person's detail to the HR's email, okay? Now this code in Java is there to extract this person's CV and then send it to this Gmail. I know this might be confusing, but we are going to build this right here on this session, okay? So let us just go into it and build it live. So if you are super excited to see us build this live, I need to get your reactions. I need to get your reactions. If you are super excited to see how we are going to build this live, I need to get your reactions. Okay, so I'm just going to click on N8N. Okay, I'm just going to click on N8N. So when you get this material, all you need is on this particular page, you just click on N8N. Okay, so N8N is one of the software that we can use to one of the applications that we can use to automate workflows, okay, to automate workflows. Now, for you, if you do not have an account before now, all you need to do is click on sign in, okay, click on sign in. So just click on sign in, and sorry, if you do not have an account, you have to click on get started, okay. You have to click on get started, okay? So all it's going to ask you here is for your email. So you can put your email, okay? Your personal email is asking for company email, which means your personal email. So you can put your personal email here and submit, and then it's going to send a verification email to your phone, to your email. Then you input the verification code you are going to get on your email. You just put it to verify your email, and then it goes to ask you some survey questions like how do you get to know about anything and all of that. So you just select any option you select there is perfectly okay. Okay, so any option you select there is very okay. Then after that, you are going to see where to click on start automating right now. Okay, you just see start automating on a blue background, and that way you will be able to create an account. For me, I already have an account, and this is my account name. So I will just click on go to instance. Okay, I'll click on go to instance. Okay, to just log into my account. Okay, now as that is loading, I have a prompt, okay, that I've created for us. So here is where you are going to get the prompt. Okay, now what I mean by a prompt is an instruction that you give to AI system or um, that you give to AI, to artificial intelligence, to help you carry out tasks automatically, okay, to help you generate outputs. Okay, so it can be the instruction when you go to your ChatGPT, you ask your ChatGPT question, that is also called prompt. Okay, but there is a way you structure it, and we call it a prompt engineering. Okay, when you go into prompt engineering, there is a way you can structure it. So just pay attention, follow the process, just pay attention. At the end of the day, you are going to get the video recording and you can build this workflow on your own. Okay, so once you get to this page where we have the structure that we want to build, you can just click on workflow description. Okay, now let's have a look at what we are trying to build. So we want to build, like I explained, we want to build a recruiting automation workflow for screening data analyst job applicants. Okay, so this workflow is to screen data analysts. Okay, so you can see, like I explained, the form trigger. So when you get this resource, you are going to read it to have a better understanding of it. Okay, so you can see AI scoring and everything. Okay, so this is like referencing a job description of what the data analyst should have, the qualities that analyst should have. Okay, so I can just copy this. Okay, I can just copy this, and then I come back to my N8N, and then I'm going to click on create workflow. Okay, so once you have created your account on N8N, this is the first page you should see. Okay, this is the first page you should see. Okay, now I have two features here. Okay, so I can decide to build this workflow from scratch. Okay, by adding different nodes. Okay, putting them manually on my own to form, to build the workflow that I want to achieve. Okay, but I can also use AI. So because I don't want to take much of our time, we have a lot of information to unpack. So I don't want to take much of our time. So we are going to use AI. Okay, we are going to build with AI. So I'll just click on build with AI. Okay, so you can see, tell me what you want to build. Okay, tell me what to build, or ask me a question. Now, here is just where you are going to put, just paste the description of what you want to automate. Okay, what you want to automate. Now we have a description of what we want to automate here. Okay, so this document is also attached to this material. Okay, so it is attached to this material. So you need to really fill the attendance form so that you can get all of these. Okay, so I've copied what I want to build. I've structured what I want to build. So I'm just going to copy and paste it here for AI to build for me. Okay, so I'm telling AI to build a recruiting automation workflow for screening data analyst job applicants. Okay, and I'm going to click on send. Okay, this arrow with orange background. Okay, now it is thinking and trying to understand my instruction. Okay, it's trying to understand my instruction. So you can see it's running here. It's running here. So please do not forget to fill the attendance form. Okay, and you will want to see how amazing automation can, can be very, very easy. So whether you know how to write JavaScript code, of course, if you want to do it manually from end to end, you need to write, at a point, you need to write JavaScript code. At a point, you need to write Python code and all of that. Okay. But with AI, you don't need to write anything. Okay. You don't need to write anything. All you need to do is to just give it an instruction of what you want to automate, what you want to build. Okay. And it's building for you live. Okay, it is building and automating the workflow for you. Okay, yeah, so we are going to get an amazing result. So at the end of the day, all you need to do is just connect, connect your what is it called now? To connect your details, okay? To connect your details, and you are good to go. Now, details I mean is give it access to some API, give it access to your email, give it access to your Google Sheet and all of that, okay? And you are good to go. So it's still building. You can see here, it's still building. It's still building. So this is something that may take you up to 30 minutes if you are a professional. It may take you up to 30 minutes, but we're going to build this workflow in less than 10 minutes, okay? In less than 10 minutes, okay? So once I get an output here, I'm just going to connect my personal credentials and boom, I have my workflow. Okay, so it's as easy as that. Okay, it is as easy as that. So instead of struggling, to carry out some task, some repetitive task, you just come here, automate a workflow that will help you carry out those tasks, and then you have more time to focus on, other important tasks. Okay, other important tasks that you may not be able to automate. Okay, yeah, so it's saying there's a highly uh relevant CV analysis template. So it's still working. It's still working to build our workflow. Okay, it's still working to build our workflow, and you can't wait to have the amazing result. Can't wait to have an amazing result. All right, so let's just give it some time. This is 2 minutes down the line. So let's just give it some time. So while that is coming up, okay, so let's just wait for it so that we see the outputs. Okay, there is something else that we may need to do, okay, to be able to achieve our automation successfully. Okay, so we need to connect to a Google Sheet. Okay, we need to connect to a Google Sheet. We need to provide some details of our email. That is, in this context, is the email of the HR. Okay, so that the HR can get a feedback when an applicant who is qualified for the role fills the form. Okay, so that is why this is the system that many organizations are using. Okay, so you can see. Okay, it's still building. Okay, it's still building. So is this amazing, guys? So we have our workflow. Now, all we need to do is to connect our credentials. Okay, now I'm just going to click on skip setup for now. Okay, skip setup for now. So we need to set up for our Google Sheet and also for our Gmail. So I will just skip. I'll just skip. Okay, so allow it to load. Okay, allow it to load. And this is what we have. So I can just come here to expand and see the full thing that I have. So I'll just click on tidy up. So you have this brush here to tidy up. So you can position your notes correctly. So you can see I have the application form, the CV extractor. So it will extract the CV as a text. Okay, it will extract the text from the CV, and then this is the AI agent. Okay, you can see. So what we need to do is to connect our Google Sheet. Okay, so to do that, but before we do that, we have to like click on execute workflow. So we can click on execute workflow. Now, if you click on execute workflow, because what triggers the workflow is when an applicant fills a form. Okay, so this is what you have. So we are just going to type our name. So I'm just going to fill the form as though I am an applicant. So I'm just going to type Anthony Wabo. Okay, and then I'll provide my email, and then I can upload my CV. So I will click here to choose the file. So let me just upload this CV, and then I will submit. Okay, and then I will submit. Okay, so I can close the form now. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is to set up my my Google form. Okay, to set up my Google form. But then before I set up my Google form, I need to go and create a a worksheet where it's going to append any detail of the applicant. Okay, so I can just come to my Google account and then click on Sheets, Google Sheets now. So you open Google Sheets. So let me just use a different account. So let me use this guy. Okay, so I can click on blank spreadsheet, and this is what I have. So here now I can call the name of the sheet data analyst. I can call it data analyst. What is happening? So data analyst application. Okay, so I can have name of the applicant here. So I can have name, I can have the score of the applicant, and then I can have recommendation. So let's just have this. Okay. Okay, so I have, okay, let me just call this job application. Job application. Okay, so that is the name of the file. Okay, so take note of the Google account you are using, because that is what you are going to connect. Okay, so you go back to your Anything, and then you double click on the Google Sheets node. Okay, now here you need to connect. So for you, it's going to write sign into Google here. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. Click on this pen. Now, this is what it's going to show you. So I'll click on sign in with Google. Okay, and I can select the same Google account where I have my Google Sheets. Okay, for job application. So I'll give it access. So this Anything already have access to this my Google account, so that is why it is this way. So for you, it's going to ask you to give it some access. So you just click on the checkbox to give access, and then you can click on continue. Okay, so this is connected. That is how to connect your Google Sheet. And then you come here. Okay, you see the operation is append row. So each person that fills the application form is going to obtain the data of that person from the CV, and then capture what it should capture on this job application sheet. Okay, now what documents where do we want it where do we want it to append the applicant information? So we have the name as job application. You can remember here, job application. And then we have the sheet name. So we just have one sheet, which is sheet 1. Okay, so we select the sheet as well. Now for this, we have the values to send to the Google Sheet. We have the name, the score, and the recommendation, which is correct. And you can click on execute step, okay? Now it's not going to execute because we have other things to set up, okay? Now every other thing is good. All we need to do is come here to the Gmail node, double click on it, okay? And then the same way you connected your Google Sheets, okay, you are going to sign into the email account that you want to use to send those emails. So I'm just going to click on sign in here, okay? I'm just going to click on sign in. So let me just choose this email account, okay? Yeah, so I will click on continue. So the same way you gave access to the Google Sheet, you click on continue, okay? And this is connected. This is connected. So the operation is that you want to send an email. Okay, so when the applicant meets the score, okay, is going to send an email to the HR. So you provide the HR's email here. Okay, so let me just type any of my email accounts here. So okay, so gmail.com. Okay, so this is my email. Okay, now every other thing looks good. So because AI have helped us to configure every other thing. So if you are building this from scratch without, you know, using the beta AI here on anything, so you have to do all of this configuration on your own. Okay, so after that I can click on execute. So like I said, it's not going to execute because we are not done setting up everything. So now that we are done setting up everything, okay, now we are done setting up everything, we can see if the score is above or equal to 80, is going to be true, and then it's going to attach the CV, okay, and then send it to the HR. Okay, so let's fill the form again. So I'll just click on execute workflow so that I'll fill the form again, and then let's see how this workflow works. Okay, so just click on execute workflow. A minute. Okay. Okay, so let me just go ahead to publish. Then I can now generate a link and then fill the form. Okay. Now I need to generate a link to the Google form. So I can just double click on the Google form here. And this is the link. Now take note of the URL. You have the test URL and you have the production URL. So since you have published, you have to click on the production URL. But we needed to have tested it before we publish. That is the standard. Okay, so I'll just copy and then come here. So you can send, if you get this link now, you can send it to maybe your engineering team, your organization's engineering team, to attach it to maybe your website, your application website. And once you click on it, this is what you are going to get. So this is the form. This is like the application form the applicant is going to fill. So I'll just type my name. Okay, Anthony. Okay, and then my email. So I can put my email, then I'll choose a file, upload my CV, okay, and then I'll click submit. So by now the workflow should start running. So first of all, it's going to append my detail on this worksheet. So let's see, okay, so let's see, okay, so let's see. So I think there is an error with the workflow. Okay, so I can fix with AI, okay? I can fix with AI. Okay, so just hold on, just hold on. Okay, so just hold on, guys. Okay, so it's setting up the workflow. Just hold on. Please. Just a minute, guys. Think something is wrong. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. So let's fill the form again. Uh, so basically, is you the form you fill is the trigger that starts the workflow. Okay, so that is why you see that anytime I click on execute workflow, it tries to bring out the form for me to fill. So there is an error, and we can debug the error with AI. So AI have found the failure and is fixing it. Okay. Okay, so allow always during this session. Okay, so it's have identified the root cause and then it's fixing it. All right, just a moment, guys. Just a moment. Okay. All right. All right. So we have our workflow. Okay. All right. All right. So let's go to test our workflow one more time. So I'll click on the execute and it will still request me to fill the form again because that is the trigger. Okay. Because that is the trigger. Okay. So I will submit. Now you can see the workflow is running. So what's the error here? Okay, column name was updated. So we have name, score, recommendation. So is that what we have? Okay, recommendation. Okay. 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 So everything is now okay with our workflow. Everything is okay with our workflow. All right. Okay, so let's see. Let's test it for the last time now. All right, so you can see everything is okay with our workflow. So let's see. Okay, so you can see the first one that we executed, you can see it automatically have uploaded the data. Okay, so we have the score as 91. So if the score was below 80, is not going to send an email. Okay, but since the score is above 80, let's see the email we are going to get. Okay, so I'll just check the email account I provided here. Okay, so this is the email account I provided in place of the HR email. So I'm just going to check that email account. Now you can see, okay, you can see. Now, are we seeing this, guys? Are we all seeing this? Can you see my screen very clear? So it's saying a qualified, strong data analyst candidate. Now with the name of the candidate, say a qualifying data analyst candidate has been screened. Okay, so instead of HR to sit down and screen the all of these CV, so the applicant, once he or she fills the form, the HR is going to get an email of this. That is, if the applicant scored up to 80. Okay, now these values are based on the configurations that we have on N8N here. Okay, these are based on the configurations that we have on N8N. Okay, now this is how you can automate, a hiring process. Now there are more to this, there are more knowledge to this. Okay, but because of time, we are not going into details on that. Okay, so now right now I want to show you the practical roadmap that you can take to become an AI enabled professional. So let's look at this guy, which is Frank. Okay, Frank Aneke was our student, in the November 2025 cohort. So he completed his program February 2026, and then June 2026 he landed a role in Anambra with a UK-based company, as a data surveyor and analyst officer. Okay, now let us analyze the roadmap that he followed, how he did it. Okay, now of course, he took a course with us. And of course, the course he took was generative AI for data analysis. And then we also have other courses. So in case you are not interested in generative AI for data analysis, we have for business analysis business analysis and project management. We have generative AI for HR analysis. Okay. And of course, he took the course for 2 months. Okay. For just 2 months. And of course, our 2 months course is positioned in a way that you have 6 weeks live class and then 2 weeks for your capstone project. Okay, so on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., we have our live Saturday class. On Sunday, we have the learning management system, which you can access at any time. But we encourage our students to make use of the LMS on Sundays, to learn, watch videos, practice the projects on the LMS. Okay, and then the last 2 weeks of the program, we have what we call the capstone project. Note that every single live class we have on Saturdays, we work on real life projects. Okay, we work on real life projects. Okay, so how did he learn? How did Frank learn this skill? Okay, that is another roadmap. Okay, how did he learn this skill? He learned in a project-based environment. So like I mentioned, we work on real business problems every Saturday, during the live sessions. Okay, and we equally have on the LMS real business problems that you can, work on, you can practice with, and then that way you will be able to showcase your work. You'll be able to build a portfolio. Now, what most organizations are looking for is evidence of your experience. Now, what is the evidence of this your experience? That is where portfolio website comes in. Okay, now I'm going to show you his portfolio website. So if you get this material, you can click here to see Frank's portfolio website. So you can see this is Aneke Chiemere Frank. This is his portfolio website. These are some of the projects that he worked on during the program. Okay, so you can see these are some of the projects, not all, but some of the projects that he worked on. Not all, because there are automation project and a whole lot of other projects that are not here yet, maybe is yet to update that. Okay, so you learn in a project-based environment. Okay, so that you'll be able to build a portfolio, and that portfolio is an evidence of what you can do, what you are capable of doing, the skills that you have. Now, when Chemere landed a job in the month of May 2026, that was last 2 months, the company requested for a reference letter. Okay, because he trained with us here at Analytics Business, we have to issue him a reference letter, and that is what we do to every other students that gain jobs in different places. Okay, so we can give you reference letter. If your organization requests for a reference letter, we give you a reference letter. Okay, so I equally have Olusegun. I have a lot of them. Olusegun was operations manager for a logistic company in Lagos. But then after taking a course in AI automation engineering, he was employed with a Canadian company where he's working currently as an AI automation engineer. Okay, working from here in Nigeria. So he still lives in Nigeria, but working for a Canadian company. So we have a lot of them. So you can check them out on LinkedIn, to confirm what we are saying. Okay. And you can, of course, watch their live, what is it called? You can watch their testimonials. Okay. And of course, this is Olusegun's experience. You can see he started as a head of finance, and then to head of business operations, and then took a course with Analytics Business. You can see when he landed the role. Okay, so he took a course with us in November 2025, and then he landed his first remote role as AI automation engineer and technical assistant at this particular company, Amadiri, okay, which is a Canadian-based organization. Okay, so we have a lot of testimonials that you can go through. This is Bukola. Bukola is currently, after taking our program, is currently working as a business analyst in the UK, in the US, I mean. Okay, so this is Pavel. Pavel was a teacher in Cameroon. Okay, so but after taking our course, he landed a job as a healthcare analyst in the US. Okay, so you can watch all of their testimonials. So what do we actually offer? Okay, so first of all, we offer 8 weeks of live training. 8 weeks of live training, like I explained earlier. So 2 weeks for, I mean, 6 weeks for live classes, and then 2 weeks for your capstone project. And then again, we have what we call mentorship, guidance and mentorship session. So on this mentorship session, we have that every Thursday at 9 p.m. Okay, this is where we guide you on how to go about job applications, interviews, how to optimize your LinkedIn, and a lot of guidance and mentorship knowledge that you are going to get. Okay, so we have the capstone project. Of course, I mentioned that at the last 2 weeks of your program, you have a project, a real business project that you are going to work on, and you add that to your portfolio. We equally help you to revamp and, review and revamp your CV, to meet the professional standard, the applicant tracking system that organizations are using. So as you can see from the workflow that we built, if your CV is not properly structured, the workflow might not be able to use it. And guess what? A lot of organizations, this is what they are using right now to screen, recruiters. Okay, so we help you to review and revamp your CV. Do not forget to fill the attendance form, okay? Do not forget to fill the attendance form. It is very important so that you get the recording and the materials as well, okay? Now we have LinkedIn optimization. Like I mentioned during the mentorship session, we show you how to optimize your LinkedIn, to a standard where recruiters will get to, you are going to be visible to recruiters and all of that. Okay. So we have Upwork profile for freelancers. We help you to set up your Upwork profile, so that you can catch some gigs. Okay. Now we have interview preparation. So let's say you land an interview, we conduct like a mock interview for you. We prepare you ahead of the interview. Okay. And I've equally shown you the job reference letter that we gave to Frank. Okay. Now on the job support. So what do I mean by on the job support? On the job support, I mean is that when after taking our program, when you land a role, let's say you encounter any technical challenge or thereabouts, you can reach out to us to say, okay, how do I go about this? How do I go about this? You have a lifetime access to Tenalytics business, including the facilitators and resources that you'll be using for the training. Okay. Now we have Tuesday technical support session on Tuesdays. Okay. So this happens weekly every Tuesday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Now on this technical support session, we have conversation around any technical challenges that you might be having, maybe with your project, maybe after live class, you have questions and all of that. Of course, you can ask questions during live class, but if there are like technical challenges, you bring them to the technical support session. You can equally reach out to your facilitator anytime. Okay, your course instructor, they are very, very accessible. Okay, now we have the alumni community. So at the end of your program, you join the alumni community, you have access to a lot of professionals, you join a community that is growing rapidly, and all of that. So is an amazing community, where we post job opportunities, we explore a lot of opportunities, you get to collaborate with professionals. Okay, so our community, you have a lifetime access to our alumni community. And of course, the analytics business is highly accredited by the American Council of Training and Development. Okay, now you can see we are accredited by the Continuing Professional Development in the United Kingdom and also the American Council of Training and Development in the United States. Now, the good news is that the next cohort starts on Saturday, that is next week, Saturday, which is 8th of August. Okay, 8th of August. But then don't look at it that is very far. Okay, it is not far. Once you register right now, you have access to the mentorship session. So tomorrow is Thursday, you start attending mentorship session. And then secondly, you have access to the learning management system where you start watching videos, you start building projects immediately, even before the live class. Okay, even before the live class. So once the live class starts, you're now getting more knowledge about the project, about the skills and all of that, and how to apply these skills. Okay, so the question you have to ask yourself right now is, with all the challenges in the world, with all the challenges in the workplace, with all the uh, challenges that professionals face, because they don't have the right skills. Okay, are you comfortable where you are right now? That is the question you have to answer, personally. Okay, are you comfortable where you are right now? Now, if you're not comfortable, maybe because you are exhausted with you are physically exhausted with the stress your current job or your current role is giving you, that means you need to take an action. Maybe you are looking forward to a promotion, but then you need these skills. You need to evidence these skills, to get those promotion. That means you need to take a step, okay? You need to make a move. You need to take an action to leave where you are, okay? Now, like I said, the next cohort is starting on 8th of August. Now, I promised us that at the end of the session, I have something special for people that will stay to the end of the session. Now, I have 48% discount for people that have stayed to this extent, okay? Learning, and of course, if you have stayed to this extent, that means you actually want to learn, you actually want to change the situation of things, okay? Now, I have just 48% discount for just 5 persons, okay, for just 5 persons. Now, the original amount of our program is 250,000 naira. Okay, so we're taking off 48%. We are going to give you just 5 persons here. We are just going to give you at the rate of 120,000 naira. That is if you are making a one-time payment right now here on this call. Okay, but if you want to lock down the bonus, maybe you don't have up to 120, but you have 50,000 naira, you can lock down the bonus and be part of these 5 persons. Okay, be part of these 5 persons. Now, the good thing is this: once you register, whether it is installment payment or full payment, you are getting access to the LMS right here on this call. Okay, you are getting access to the LMS right here on this call, and at your free time from tomorrow, you can start working on project, you can start practicing, and you can start building amazing stuff. Okay, but this opportunity is just for the first 5 persons. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can go about the payment. Okay, I'm going to show you how you can go about the payment. Then you can now ask your questions. So if you have questions, get ready to ask your questions. So how do you go about the payment? There is a link here on the chat box. Okay, there's a link here on the chat box. So the link is the first one is for you to make a payment. Now, if you do not have clarity of the course to choose, you can take any course. You can choose any course. Now, at the end of the day, when you make your choice of course, you can switch to a different course or program. So you are just going to click on the link here. So once you click on the link, this page is going to open for you, okay, to make payments, okay, to make payments. So first of all, you select a program, okay, so you select a program. So let's say you want to go for AI automation engineering, which is actually a hot cake in the industry right now, okay. So AI automation engineering, then you can sign up with your Google account. Okay. So if I click on sign up with Google account, I can choose this account. So you just choose your Google account, sign up, and then click on continue. So it's just going to sign me up. Okay. Now this is what I have. It's telling you to invest in your future right now. Okay, so the biggest investment you can make is investing in your own future. Okay, investing in your own future. So when you scroll down, you can click on choose your payment plan. Okay, click on choose your payment plan. So if you are making payment, if you are making a full-time payment, you can click on the full-time payment here. Okay, and then you come up here to select cohort. So you can select August cohort. Let's say you want to join us to start the August cohort, which is coming up on the 8th of August, which is next week, Saturday. You select August cohort. Otherwise, you can select September cohort. So just select any cohort of your choice. Okay, so let me just select August cohort. So if you're making installment payment, I'm making payment of 50,000 naira, you can just select this, okay? So anyone works. Now you select your currency, okay? Select your currency. So if you're making payment in naira, you select, and Ghana, anywhere, USSD, dollar, and all of that. So once you select that, you click on pay, okay? You click on pay, and it will take you to a page where you're going to have different payment option. Okay, so you can pay with your card, you can pay with transfer, can use USSD. So if you want to use transfer, it's going to generate an account number for you. Okay, now this account number expires after 30 minutes. So if you are making a transaction using the transfer option, you have to be fast about that. So that is how to make payments. And after your payment, you can just click on I've sent the money. You can also forward your payment receipt to this number here on the chat box. Okay, so let me just drop the number for you. So forward the number to this number here on the chat box, okay? So just forward forward your receipt, I mean, okay? So if you need more clarity, you can also book for a clarity session, okay? Where you're going to have a conversation, a one-on-one conversation with a professional, okay? So let's say you've registered right now, but you are not sure of the particular course you want to choose, okay? You can book mentorship clarity session, and then you get to ask questions, lots of questions about your career choice. Okay, so at the moment, while we are waiting for the lucky 5 persons, I can take your questions right now. Okay, I can take your questions. So if you have a question, you can raise your hand. You can drop on the chat box, you can raise your hand, and I will ask you to speak. Okay, so do we have questions? Do we have questions? Do not forget to fill the attendance form so that we get you the materials, the prompt, and everything that we use. Okay, the attendance form is here on the chat box. Okay, and then the payment link is also here on the chat box. Okay, so do we have questions? Do we have questions, guys? Do we have questions? Any questions, guys? Any questions? I think someone raised hand the other time, and I asked you to write down your question. Do you have questions? You can go on with your questions. Okay. So if you do not have money to make an instant payment, just reach out to me, okay? And I will see how we can assist you. Okay, so I'll just display my number. Okay. So like I said, so this is my number. You can reach out to me on WhatsApp. Can reach out to me on WhatsApp, okay? And we can have a proper conversation, okay? So you can reach out to me on WhatsApp via this number, okay? But we are ready to take on the bonus, 48% bonus. You need to take the action right now. And this is just for 5 persons. And I don't know how many slots that are left now. So once it is 5%, the sales team, they are going to uh, notify us. My colleague here, they are going to notify us. Okay. So congratulations to those that have taken the bold step. Okay. Congratulations to those that have taken the bold step. All right. So do we have questions? Do we have questions? Do we have questions? Do we have questions, guys? Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? Okay, so do we have questions? Do we have questions? Okay, so I think in absence of questions, then we call it a night, okay? We call it a night. All right, so do not forget to fill the attendance form. And you want to take advantage of the bonus, you have to use the link attached here on the chat box, okay? You have to use the link attached here on the chat box. All right, guys, do have a wonderful evening.